Okay, I'm just waiting notification. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us tonight, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the amazing artist, Ozara Ode. First of all, assalamu alaikum, ma'am. How are you doing?
Walaikum salam, sir. Thank you so much for having me on this evening. It is indeed an honor to be on your podcast.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. And the first question that we have for you is, how long have you been singing and performing?
Oh, I've been singing and performing. I started probably singing when I was around 5 or 6. My father's side of the family, they had a group when I was growing up called the Brooks Nine. And my father was an amazing vocalist. He's no longer physically with us right now, but he is with us. And, you know, growing up, they had a lot of gospel music, a lot of Pointer Sisters and all these different people that did harmonies. And so it was a normal Sunday to hear a lot of singing in the house. Well, really every day that I was over my grandmother's house on my dad's side, there was a lot of singing. And so I picked it up there. And then when I got into the church and got into the church choir, I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. And as you can tell from my voice, I have a low timbre. And even as an 8-year-old child, I was singing in the section with the deacons because my voice was way deeper than the children's choir voice. And so they would have me sing with the adults.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. That's amazing. And what was some of the music that you like, some of the songs that you like to sing when you were a child in the choir?
Oh, man. When I was little, I loved to sing Patti LaBelle. I love because she just was an amazing vocalist.
Okay.
It was sort of hard for me growing up. I don't know, you go to the parties and you go and they say, all the ladies, raise your hand and say, ho, and I'm like, oh, it's too low. And so the same thing with singing, a lot of the vocalists that I could emulate were male because I'm a contralto, which is a female tenor. And so a lot of the songs that I would want to sing, my contralto voice was much deeper. So I couldn't sing, Tina Marie and Sade and things like that. So I would end up singing Luther Vandross or, someone, along that line. And then Anita Baker came along and was like, oh, thank you. And then years later, I was introduced to Cassandra Wilson and Nina Simone. It was like, oh, so there are women with deep voices, and that, really made a boost to my confidence. I was introduced later to Phyllis Hyman, and that really, really helped. And it really helped me develop myself as a vocalist and be proud as a female contralto.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. So you mean, so your voice can say, you are my heart, I want you, baby. But, in your voice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, brother.
I know my sisters and stuff were like, Josh was always on that thing podcast, say it. Okay, but yes, so let's get straight into it. What would you, can you give us one song first? Like, what song would you like to sing today?
I like to sing a little bit of this piece called Higher Plane.
Okay.
It has like a little hip hop beat to it, but I don't have, it's like, so I won't do that part. I'm not a beatboxer, so I won't go there.
Okay.
But it's like, do 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 da 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 da. They say the grass is greener on the other side. Respect the source once you realize To be grateful for what you have, to be thankful at times just pass. You know this moment won't last. Take it on a higher plane. Ooh. One towards the source, don't free from the flame. Respect the source, knowledge of self you gain. Cause trouble won't last always. Change your mind, see a better way. Change your mind, change your mind. Trouble won't last always. Take it on a higher plane. Ooh. Just a little something.
That's amazing. And my sister Miriam, and everybody, people showing you love all across the country. Can't wait to put this on YouTube. And how can we support you, ma'am? Like, how can we like buy your music, listen to your music?
They can go to my website, Ozara Ode. That's Ozara. O, D as in David, E as in Elijah.com. And I don't really put a lot of things on streaming sites because it's slavery and they don't really pay us anything. You have to, I know Happy did like 13 gazillion streams and he got about $13,000 for that. So you imagine someone who has that much exposure and that much access to resources to put yourself out into the market and be heard by billions across the planet. And the song still only earned $13,000 in streaming. So imagine an independent artist like myself, we get 0.000000062.964 cents per stream. So I made my own website. And we are taught to do for self or suffer the consequences. So please support on the website.
Okay, great. And my sister Miriam says beautiful, and people are liking it and showing love. Okay, excellent.
Oh, good thanks. Good thanks.
Now, do you give vocal lessons or vocal training?
I definitely have done that. I can do it virtually or in person if you're in the city, or if I'm ever in your city, we can do it one-on-one, but I can, if you contact me through my website, there's an email, or you can directly email me at ozarasings@gmail.com, and we can set up a time over the platform, either Zoom or Google Meet, so that we can set up, first I'd hear you, see where you are, what your goals are, and what your aspirations are, and then we'll work from there.
Okay, so you're saying somebody like me, I gotta be able to go, whatever you just did, all of the skill. I'm like, yeah, I had to step it up, Josh. Come on.
No, everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own style. And I mean, you think about Gil Scott-Heron. He doesn't do all of that. He is not a Will Downing, and Will Downing is not a Gil Scott-Heron. So you just be yourself.
Okay, but I wanted my favorite vocalist, male vocalist of all time is Teddy P. My voice is not the same as Teddy P. So you know what I'm saying? How do you get that Teddy P?
You got to have a lot of diaphragm usage. You got to have a lot of. You got to come from your gut, and be able to. There's a guttural that he has in his voice where he's, when he's like really gets into it, and so there's a lot of passion and compassion. When you have lyrics in front of you, like I can't sing a lot of fluffy stuff because I have to feel it. I mean, I can sing it, but you won't get the same flavor from me. Like I have some fun songs. A lot of my songs, there are a lot of meaning behind love and peace. My main focus is love on a quantitative level and a qualitative level, like Mother Tainetta Muhammad taught us. And so even when I'm dealing with male-female relationship type of lyrics, I wanted to be more about bringing us together, making us look at each other in the highest light. And, when you're married, you don't want to put on a song that's about, empowerment And it's that time you want something that's going to make you be able to be set in that purpose in that moment. And love is very powerful and is healing. And we need that amongst the Black man and woman. We need that in our communities. So in my music, I have a piece called I Just Want to Be With You. And I like to share a little bit of that with you, if I could.
Okay.
Is that
okay? Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm a poet as well. I'm a spoken word artist. So a lot of my songs will have a combination of spoken word and song. So he told me he loved to read and pray. For that moment forth, I'd never look at him quite the same. See, I'd always remember him, and I usually didn't remember them. With the long nights of passionless conversation, lips licked, and I'd say, self, you know that brother ain't even ready for you yet. But no, not this one. This one will be willing to lunge in tongue first with his spoken words, kissing me on the base of my cerebrum and causing my hypothalamus to be awakened from its winter slumber. And I wonder if he realizes that I dream about him each and every night. And he'll be like the type of man for me, fighting for my people, freedom, justice, equality. And I'll be waiting patiently for you to come to me. Until then, I'll dream. I'll dream. See, he'll be able to take me, a grown woman, and turn me into a little girl, telling me bedtime stories with bedtime rhythm, sees all of my pain. And he'll make my gray areas become black and my blues. He'll make my blues. He'll make my blues become colorful rainbows. Dressed up just like you. Yeah, you right over there. And if he should ever decide to leave me, I'd swear I'd die just so I could come back and haunt that brother, because I want that brother and I need him, and I'll be waiting patiently, and I'll keep on dreaming. I wonder if he thinks about me too. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. Excellent. Go ahead. All right.
Yes.
Song you love all across the country, saying
Yeah.
beautiful things. Why says okay? That's his name. Like okay. And like I said, okay. So can make tomorrow. Thank everyone who's watching. To do spoken word as well. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, sir.
Great. Now, my next question is, when you sing your music, is it hard for you to not be emotional, like not like put your personal life into your music, or is that a part of the process?
Ooh, that's, you know, if I'm a songwriter, so I'm writing from sometimes from my own experience and sometimes from conversations that I've had with other people. But when you're delivering something, I saw that you had Brother Charles on here a couple of weeks ago, and he told me years ago, he said, it's the tone. Be mindful of the tone. And we're taught about, tone and how sound travels at a rate of 24 billion miles per second. So the emotion, if we want the person to be able to connect to what we're saying, it doesn't matter if we're on the rostrum or if we're in front of the mic performing, emceeing, and I always wanted to be a rapper, by the way. I'm not a rapper, but I always want to be one. But we still have to be mindful of the tone so that the person can receive what we're trying to give. So I don't try to always get into the emotions of it, but when I'm singing something like a Nina Simone song, sometimes it's very hard to not, like singing Mississippi Goddamn. And knowing that as much as I'm sure she didn't want that song to be relevant today, as it was when she wrote it 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it is. And so with all the things that still take place within our community, with the harm and danger from our education to the police brutality and us on us brutality, you know, that you can't help but have emotion in those moments. And so, yeah, I think it's important to not lose yourself, but to definitely give of yourself in those times when you're performing.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. And do you, so for me, if I say birds flying high, birds, that's my Nina Simone.
Oh, here, remix. I hear you.
But do you ever sing any songs that are like, like you have a very jazzful, jazz soulful song? What about like what they call neo soul, like India.Arie or Erykah Badu, Jill Scott? Is that the same tone thing? Music Soul Child, is that the same thing, or that's not the same?
Um, you know, to be as transparent as possible, they gave the label neo soul as just in a way to try and make it a niche and make some more money off of it's soul music.
Mm.
And so my music is soul music. It's good for the soul, it's food for the soul. You know, it may come off as a little bit of jazz. It may come off as a little bit of R&B. I do house music.
Okay.
You know, I got house tracks. I have this one track called The Story. And it's really, there's a part that says, move your arm, leg, arm, head, tell your story, tell your story, tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, we are a walking story. And through dance, through movement, we tell our stories. Through spoken word, we tell our stories. And so music is just universal. Whatever label we want to put on it. Brother Gat Turner, he was like, sis, I've always seen you as hip hop. I'm like, for real? Like, really? Oh, brother, don't say that because I'm going to start trying to rap. Don't do it. but yes, sir. So the labels are really just to kind of let you know where it's going. But with me, you know, you're going to get a mixture of jazz. And like with Nina Simone, she's going to sing in her way, but you might hear it over a house track. You might hear it with jazz. You might hear it with blues. You might hear it with R&B or classical or folk. And she's still Nina. So I'm still going to be Ozara, no matter what kind of beat falls under it, you know?
That's great. Well, I learned a lot about Nina Simone through Kanye West with he did a song called "Blood on the Leaves," which was like paying homage to her. Lil Wayne did a song where that's why I got the birds flying high and the birds, but like I got that from Lil Wayne, but it was like, you sampling that, but I got it through hip hop, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is who they
That's
got.
what.
Okay,
I
great.
actually did a play off Broadway paying homage to her. And it's a goal of mine. It was a goal of mine for years after I wrote it. I was in Atlanta. Well, I was actually in Milwaukee, and the family was doing a 10-day tribute to Nina Simone in Atlanta. This was around 2010. And they flew me in, and we ended up doing a reading of the play that I wrote paying homage to her mother during that tribute. And afterwards, her sister said that I had captured the essence of her sister. And the mother was like, my mother's spirit has been within different people. She's with you at this time. And then her granddaughter runs up to me after her. She's like, Auntie, Auntie, Auntie. She said, thank you so much. And I'm like, why, beloved, why? And she was like, because my grandmother wasn't on here with us a long time. And you remind me of her. And it's like, my heart is like, really touched by this because this is an 8-year-old girl who was so articulate and so wise beyond her years. Her grandmother transitioned when she was about 3 years old. And so for her to come up to me and say this, you know, I pushed really hard to get that play produced. Blood, sweat, and tears. I had a lot of people who believed in me and stood behind me. And I ended up making it from Milwaukee to Atlanta to New York off Broadway to produce the play. All praises due to Allah, truly.
Yes, I am. Okay, great. Now, there's something that's trending every day on social media uh, that I think is very helpful in this conversation, where the question is R&B dead? Is there a need for traditional R&B to come back with the artist? So I would assume that if, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think that you have the solution or can be a part of the solution with keeping R&B relevant?
I think I think the conversation around is R&B dead. I know P. Diddy, he made the comment, and I know Usher came back with, hey, R&B isn't dead. You know, there's some people that tried to kill it, and there's some people that are working to kill it. I see rhythm and blues being, if you compare it to the Black man and woman, they understand the power of the rhythm and the blues. They understand the healing capabilities of the music that came through from the church, came from the cotton fields down into the church, down into the shacks on the side of the road, and lifted people up and made us move and made us groove and made us love each other. And so the death of R&B is like they trying to kill us. We already know that. And so we can't listen to someone else. What we have to do is continue to make that music under the genre of rhythm and blues and lift it up and lift up those who are those who are making it and keeping it in the forefront. I mean, what are we going to replace it with? And why would we want to replace it? So my thing is like, let us keep making good music. Let us keep elevating, and let us keep supporting. Because if we don't support the music, you'll get people that don't look like us. They'll make R&B music. They'll change the name of it, but they'll sound like us, you know, the same way they did with Elvis. I was watching a video on TikTok where they were showing the brother who he was mimicking. I mean, he stole he stole his moves, he stole everything. And all of a sudden, he's the king. But the person he stole it from looks like us. And so that's the same thing that's happening in R&B. That's the same thing that's happening in hip hop. I went to a live event yesterday and they were like, you gotta go upstairs. You gotta go upstairs. There's this brother, he's going in. I went upstairs. There was this little white nerdy guy that looked like he should be, you know, working on a tech app someplace. It was just really interesting to me that this is who they're trying to push in front of us. Anyone can rap. I'm not saying that. But what we can't do is let what came from our blood, sweat, and tears just be taken away from us the way they did rock and roll. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So do you have a cover of an R&B song that you can sing, like something that represents what R&B is to you?
Sure I do. It'll be Mary J. Blige. How about that?
Okay.
It's an oldie, but one of my favorites. Okay. Baby, there's no need to tell you. As far as I can really recall, my love is right here for you. And you don't have to worry at all. I'll sacrifice my time. Make sure you're satisfied. And there's no ending to the joy I'll bring. I want to give you all my love. That's all I want to do every day and every minute, every hour, baby. Don't you look no more. Love without my love is yours. Loving you. My love is one to do. It's hard to do without the background. But yeah, that's one of my favorites of Mary J. Blige, and that's definitely the rhythm and blues, and yeah, it's still there, and she's still doing it,
Absolutely, and you can't go wrong with Mary J. Blige, and that's phenomenal.
Good Morning Gorgeous, come on.
Yeah, you can't go wrong for sure.
That's R&B. I'm like, Pity. I know she was like, P. Diddy, what did you just say to me? I just came out with this R&B and you just said it's dead, but she definitely showed forth that it's not dead.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. And one more time, where can we listen to you and support you?
Ozara, Ozara, O-D as in David, E as in Elijah.com.
Great. Yes, ma'am. I really want to see you perform. in any way that we can support you or connect with you, especially in person to see you perform live, I really
Yes.
want to do it. I think that you're an instrument, and we need that. We need that type of talent to be shown to the
Oh, thank you for that.
to be shown to the people.
Well, my most recent performance, I was invited by Sister Aziza Muhammad to the national training, and I was blessed to be able to go and share with the believers during the dinner, the banquet on that Saturday. Was that Saturday? Yes, that Saturday. And what I'm doing now is really, I don't know if you can see this, but I had cervical spine surgery. And they told me I would never be able to sing again, most likely if I had the surgery. But if I didn't have the surgery, I could be paralyzed from the waist down. And so I'm like, well, I do want to walk. so, so I'll go ahead and I just said, I'll just pray to Allah that, He brings forth healing. It took about 6 months, but I could not sing. I sound like Kermit the Frog being put in a chokehold.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, Allah, what am I going to do? Because I just did the off-Broadway production and was to be touring overseas again. And so it was just like, well, all that's put on hold. And so it's been a couple of years that it was on hold. But what happened is I began to be able to sing again. And all praises be due to Allah. I ended up over in Paris, in Chalabre, France, for a music festival. After I had my back surgery, that they said if I didn't have the back surgery, that I could be paralyzed from the waist down. So I had a car accident many years earlier, and my spine had gone through so much that I wasn't even aware, because I'm an athlete. So I'm playing basketball, tennis, volleyball, I'm running, jogging, I'm doing everything, and not realizing that it was deteriorating my spine. And so I went through all of that. And I must say to you that behind the pandemic, I may have performed once or twice a year because it was still very difficult for me with my back. And so when the sister called me, the last performance I had was last year in Ghana. And so it had been since then, since I performed. I wasn't really pushing forward. I'm doing a lot of writing. I write plays, as you know. And so my focus had changed. And between that sister, that beautiful sister, calling me and asking me to come and to perform, I'm like, y'all want me to come? Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, sister. And then this brother who was my consultant many years ago on some of my projects, he was like, have you seen what's taking place out in the music world, out in the world? He said, your voice is needed. The lyrics that you put out there, they're still needed, sister. He said, so I don't know if you want to do real estate, nothing wrong with that. He said, whatever it is that you want to do. He said, but I think it would be best if you got back to your purpose. Mm. And so we went on a revamping of my website. We went on I'm working with some producers to create new music, and I'm seeking all sources to be able to get me back up where I was and beyond that, so that I can tour and perform, and by the grace of Allah, because I do think it's important that, we have the arts and culture ministry, right? And so we have to put a representation out into the world. It's not just for the believers. It's for people who don't know. It's for people who would have never thought to think about a brother who reads and prays. I should be looking for a brother who likes to read and pray. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. And so it's like these things are important for us to put into the atmosphere. And Dr. Abdul Halim today, he said, believers, you're not too old. It's not too late. He said, whatever your purpose is, you need to be, living in that purpose. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right. I'm working on a brother. I'm like, why are you talking about me, man? I'm working on it. And so I have this this event called the Ebb Indie Flow. It's a live and virtual concert series. I have a lot of independent artists around the world who I'm friends with. And what this concert series will be, we'll do a concert in Atlanta and we'll do a concert in Houston. And eventually I would like to change it where we're, either every few months changing cities and doing the live version of it. And then also it's virtual. And so I already have on board artists from Australia, Mozambique, Madagascar, London, New York, Houston, Atlanta, LA, Chicago, Milwaukee. They're on board for us to do this. And what will take place is the virtual artists would already have pre-recorded, so we don't have any snafus on the day of the event. And then the live band and performers will perform. So people can come and then people can watch from their homes as well. And I've had the band, I was just blessed with people believing in this project. Brothers who worked with Jill Scott, Chris Brown, Neo, were my music, that was my music director. And the drummer, they worked with some of the greatest. And they're like, but we love the independent artists too, And so they're willing to back us up and make us sound even better, And so I want people to be on the lookout for that. The goal is to have that up and running by the spring of 2023. And so that'll be one of the places that you can hear me, but I want other artists to be able to get that exposure. You know what I'm saying? If you have something good, something positive, something's gonna lift us up, I want you to be a part of this. I want to, receive. You can send your recorded live performances to ozarasings@gmail.com. Submit that, and these are paid opportunities. I'm an independent artist, so I don't like when people tell me, "Oh, this is going to be for exposure." It's like, we have the internet. I don't need you to expose me. Where's my money? And so until we get the sponsors and everything, it won't be a lot of money, but there will be payment for the artists to perform and for the bands to play. And so I'm really excited about it. A lot of people are excited about it. And we're just trying to grow the team so that we can make sure that we make it as professional as we possibly can. All of us are professionals, and most of the people that are involved have been in the game 10, 20 years. So they know their stuff, and the people will really enjoy the presentation that will be presented to them.
Beautiful. Okay, so go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Well, that's amazing. I want to thank everyone who's in the comments. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. Please feel free to come back once you finish your next event, Madagascar, and all the traveling and everything. Please come back and let us know how it went and anything that we can do to support and show love. We're right here with you.
Absolutely. If anyone is looking for events, I'm ready to perform. It's like we did, like I did the national training event, and I'm just ready to put what God put into me out into the world so that people can hear it and I can share it.
All praises to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for coming on. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank everyone who watched.
Thank you all.